Hello, thank you very much for coming on to the show today. Chase McMahon, and to make sure I spelled it right for any media I use, McMahon. McMahon?
Yes. McMah. Yes.
McMahony.
McMahony. Yep, that's my name. Yep.
Perfect. And
McMahana.
do you have a title currently, like whether it's in your job or even if you're Dr. McMahon yet? What do you have now?
Oh, I wish I was Dr. McMahon. No, currently I am student worker of the University of Arizona Chase McMahon, student tour guide leader.
Hey, that's pretty good. That's got a nice long, you gotta take like a full breath
Exactly.
beforehand.
Exactly. Yeah, and you confuse people. By the end you say it, they're like, what?
That's
What
like,
the fuck
I
are
sound
you?
smart.
Yeah. I work for the U of A. I work for university.
It's great. And so eventually, what title would you like to have? Like
I want to
apparently
be
starting with doctor.
I want to be Dr. McMahon. Yep, Dr. McMahon, doctorate in astrophysics, and yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal.
Any specific type of astrophysics?
Yeah, radio. Anything with radios. Particular, I do radiochemistry. I do astrochemistry. It's what the name is, and I map molecular clouds and I look how the molecules are interacting with each other and how they're moving. So that's what I do now. I like it a lot. I think I'm pretty good at it, kind of. Not really, but
It's a good start.
yeah, it's a good start, and I want to continue doing it and get better. So yes.
Now, is that for anyone who doesn't know too much about, the radio side of astronomy? Is it like the stereotypical type where it's the middle of the night, you're going up into whatever random mountain is nearby, it's freezing cold, and you're just watching things explode and it's
No. So
fantastic?
yeah, it's a little known secret. We're actually the best part of astronomy, radio. There's no one better. And people who tell you optical's better is lying. Okay.
You heard it here
Radio,
first.
I go up in the day, or I go up at night. Clouds, who cares? The light goes through the clouds, who cares? We do care a little bit, but it's not that much.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, we do it through the day, we do it through the night. The only thing we care about is this very pesky thing. It's called the sun. Hate that thing. It gets in the way. It'll blow up your radio telescope if your telescope's too close. There's a
Hmm.
little window. You're not allowed to go, right too close to the sun, otherwise you fry the telescope.
Oh, so it's a pretty small window for you to still be able to do daytime observations.
Yeah. In the daytime, you can't, it's like looking at the sun with your own eyes, except, yeah, you
We
can't do
don't do
that.
that.
We don't do that
Please,
with
no one
well,
do that. The sarcasm is very much. Please don't.
where are you?
I can't.
I
Everything's
can't
dark.
see. Yeah, there's a giant hole right here. I can't. What the?
The
Yeah,
sun used
no.
to go right there. That was the sun hole.
Yeah. Yeah, now I gotta move it over. Now it's the lips. It's so weird. So, yeah.
So, in trying to be Dr. McMahon, what kind of schooling are you currently in?
I am a third year undergraduate student getting two bachelor's degrees, one in physics, the other in astronomy, and then accompanying my minor in mathematics. That's the official title. That's the schooling. It's around 4 to 5 years of schooling. It'll depend.
And is that whole kind of conglomerate that you've made for yourself, is that necessary for the graduate schooling you're going to need, or is it more of an interest that you chose the double degree, for example, such like that?
Yeah, I'd say money is more required for grad school. But no, yes, if you're going to go to grad school for astrophysics, you cannot be majoring in archaeology. That's not going to work. Yeah, it's required. The physics degree goes a long way in multiple fields. The astronomy degree is not worthless, but it's not worth much.
Hmm.
In combination with the physics and the astronomy degree, that means you actually like understand what you're talking about. And so, yeah, I would say it is. The minor in math is not required. That's more of a look, I could do the math. I could do
I
I
know
could
more
maybe,
things.
I know more things. I could do a little bit of this or a little bit of that. I know a little bit of statistical analysis that, a little bit more than what's required. But no, physics and astronomy is definitely something you need.
Do you find that you're adapting well or have adapted at all to most people might hear double major and instantly freak out from the
Oh,
workload?
yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's pretty terrible, the workload, but I don't, I don't really notice it. It's sort of well,
Just
this is
the
what I want to
constant
do.
suckiness.
Yeah, it's like, well, I've dug the hole. I might as well just keep going. It's a sunk cost fallacy type of thing where it's like, well, I've hit bedrock, but I might as well get some dynamite and start trying to get through bedrock. So yeah, that's what it is. I mean, it's fun. At the end of the day, it's like, you look at a homework problem. And there has to be some inkling of fun there. Otherwise, forget it. I mean, you're not gonna go through it. It's not worth it. It'll just
So
destroy you.
amongst all the gruelingness, you do still enjoy physics, astronomy,
Oh
math,
yeah.
like the deep
Oh
science
yeah.
such.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's pretty awful sometimes sitting there in a lecture for an hour and 30 minutes. And but then when you get out of it, you're like, oh, it's kind of cool. Fourier transforms, those were drilled into us like we were Marines at boot camp. But I mean, at the end of the day, hey, that's pretty cool. That's how my phone works. Thanks, Cohen Fisher. I mean,
There's some practicality to it, and you can take it out, and you don't feel like you just wasted an hour and a
exactly.
half listening. You're like,
Yeah.
well, I guess that's kind of useful,
Yeah, I
but
get on the
nothing else.
phone and I say, Mom, well, guess what I learned today?
I'm gonna
You're
teach you something
talking
new.
Fourier transform. And she's like, Chase, get off the phone. I don't want to talk to you. And so it's,
Love you, bye.
love you, bye. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, no, it's a big workload, worth it.
And are you gonna be able to do it in 4 years? Is that part of the plan of 4 years, double degree, minor, and then off you go?
Yeah, yeah, it's the plan. It's not required. I mean, I could slow down a little bit if I wanted to. The workload I could decrease, but the track right now should be 4 years. Um, depends. The minor in mathematics, I actually have to talk to my advisor, but which hopefully will be you. I don't know. I think that's on track for 4 years. I think I actually could cram enough classes in. It's recommended. They're like, you might want to take another year or another semester, but I could do 4.
With having your job, you do have that at the same time too. For anyone listening, that he's doing double major with the
Yes,
job, so that can still be
yes,
a thing.
yes. It's a job that is. I set my schedule,
Hmm.
and it's not like it's mind numbing. It's tours. It's tours of that, or it's driving up to the mountain, which I do on the weekends sometimes. Which is not official yet. That'll be official when I turn 21. But yeah. So, but there are perks to my job in that it's in my field and what pretty tangentially related to what I want to do. I mean, because you have people who get here and they go to work and they're working at Wendy's, and they're like, "Well, I'm majoring. What are you majoring in?" It's like, computer science, artificial intelligence. Here's your burger.
Yeah, the French
It's
fries
like,
use computers actually,
yeah, yeah. There's an AI I talked to. I say I need 4 French fries. He spits them
and it
out,
gives it to me. It's a
and he gives it to
fascinating, very
me.
fascinating.
Yeah, Chat GPT, 1 bacon cheeseburger, and he spits it out. It's great. But yeah, no, I could say, okay, well, I give tours of the Mirror Lab, which builds telescopes. Now they're not radio telescopes, but they're telescopes nonetheless. I'm still a big fan of telescopes, even though they suck because they're optical. But no, there's that, and then hey, occasionally I'm the emergency presenter up on the Lemmon Sky Center, and I get to use a 32-inch optical telescope. And that's really cool. I get to click a couple buttons, it moves, kills a couple people if they're standing underneath. That's okay. It's par for the course.
That's how I know it's a good job.
Yeah, exactly.
Death is possible.
Yeah, we got a graveyard. It's a whole big thing, and but it's a lot
It's
of fun.
common. We get through it.
Yeah, yeah. You learn how to shovel. You got a backhoe, and you just boop, boop, put them in. It's fun. A lot of fun.
I like how official that sounds.
Yeah, yeah. It's the death hoe we call it because it's a specific backhoe.
Naturally,
You don't
yeah.
want to cross contaminate. Yeah, you don't want to. So.
Now, to take one little side detour from your schooling for a minute, can you give us like a little synopsis, or anyone's listening and they're like, what's the Mirror Lab? Do I even want to go visit that? What is that about?
Yeah, you absolutely do want to visit the Mirror Lab if you're part of, I don't know, the human race. It's the largest. Well, it's
That's a few people.
that's a few people. Yeah, I think it's around 1 or 2 these days. But what it is it's a facility underneath the football stadium. Okay, it's underneath the football stadium.
Hmm.
We build the largest mirrors in the world. These mirrors range from 6.5 to 8.4 meters. Those are what we're going to polish, and it's all done in this facility.
Wait.
Parts.
You said meters. I'm an American, and I don't understand what meters are. Can you convert that for me and my American
You
brethren?
know, I don't want to be part of the problem. I mean, really,
You
it's
use
not
meters. Now it's
fair.
good. We're gonna get used to that, so that's why we keep using it. But until we gotta give some conversions.
Well, you got it. Okay, it's around 21 to 28 feet.
Okay.
There's some decimal points. That's why meters suck.
So
Or
one
meters
fifth of
suck.
a football
Feet
field
suck.
for.
Yeah, 1/5 of a space station. Okay, that's how big we're talking.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
No,
Good.
they're huge. And you're not going to be able. I mean, you can hear meters, you can hear feet. And you're like, oh, that's pretty big. My Ford F1 9000's 26 billion feet in length or whatever. And, that's pretty big. But these mirrors are bigger than you think. You got to see them just to really understand how crazy we're talking about. And not only that, but we got to polish. We got to polish them to be very, very smooth. And this all happens underneath a football stadium. And we test it too. We have to test very, very precisely. Now, we get the question a lot. We're under the football stadium. Do football games preclude us from doing anything? And there's only one part of the process, and that's the testing. But thankfully, the football team doesn't score enough for that to be a real issue.
Yeah, bear down.
Yeah, bear down. Yeah, yeah. Whatever they say. Yeah, big with the yeah.
Well,
That's your
cool
question.
deal. Yeah, that answers it perfectly. So pretty much everyone should go see those. And I've been on the tour myself years ago, and it is quite amazing to. You just go to this little like side office. You see the football stadium. You got this little side pocket. You go in there, and all of a sudden you're like underground. There's these tall, weird-looking pillars that keep everything kind of supported. And you see one room where they're kind of making the glass. You're like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then you go to another room where they got like 3 or 4 kind of splayed out, and you're just like, how is there this much room under here?
Exactly. Yeah. No, we took a lot of parking lots from people. I always say during the tour, where you're standing used to be the assistant coach's parking lot, and we haven't had a single one on the tour ever. So I think they don't like us anymore.
Like they're done. We're like, you know
Yeah.
what? My spot was not worth it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. They're like, what? You're building mirrors here? I used to park my car. And I got to park 5 minutes away. What the hell?
It was just terrible. I hate it here.
That's, yeah. Crime, really. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you do your mirror lab work, you go and do your homework and such, and so you're doing your schoolwork, your double degree. Do you generally, like 1 to 10, do you love it to death as far as like the actual work and material? Are there parts that you really enjoy? Are there parts you maybe didn't realize would be a facet to your education, whether it's you didn't think I'd have to spend this much time, or I didn't realize I enjoy working with other students and classmates to work on homework and stuff? Is there anything that was like a surprise to you in your education so far?
Oh, surprise? Yeah. Well, I always thought it was to come here and learn, and I've quickly figured out that people, it's not a good idea to come in with that sort of idea that you come into this and you're just supposed to know, and that was my big surprise. No, a big surprise was just how slow it is. I thought it would be going faster. I thought I would be struggling a little bit more in that, like, oh, we're on this topic now, on this topic next week. No, it's actually a lot slower, and the pace is also off because that's none of these professors talk to each other. They all hate each other. They live next door to each other in their offices, but they don't want anything to do with Dr. Becky down the hall. They want nothing. And so all these courses are so staggered and weird, and they jump all over the place, and some move quick and some move, so you never get a really good sense of just like am I advanced? Am I doing physics or am I
You're not quite sure what level you're at.
Yeah,
with
what level am
education
I
and such.
operating on at here? Yeah, exactly. So that was my big surprise.
And do you find that's pretty consistent for the entire thing? Like, are there certain types of classes that are more prone to that stagnation, or are there other, whether it's specifically the astronomy or math, that seem more cohesive? Is there anything like that?
Yeah, the astronomy courses do not suffer from this. It's typically the physics courses. The math courses, they're actually pretty well defined. Actually, I found they're pretty big. They're pretty big. They have 400 students at any given time for most of these classes. I mean, especially in the beginning, especially the calc series. I mean, they're pretty well defined, and they've got some pretty good. You know where you're at for these 3 to 4 classes. They're pretty cohesive. The astronomy department, there's so much to go over and so much to cover that I don't think you can ever tell. And the physics department, that's where the wheels come up. And yeah, that's when we kind of where we're going. We don't need roads anymore, or any sort of
Just freeballing it.
yeah. You're like, well, you kind of show up to lecture that day, and you're like, well, what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about I want to talk about the history of you know
History of the electron
yeah, I want to talk about the history of the
for 3 days.
yes.
Um,
I
so
love I love the physics department. I can't. I'll get in trouble.
your opinion is totally valid. We're not making any accusations of terrible
No.
program, great program. We're not saying anything like that here. It's
They're
just
a wonderful department. They have a lot to work with. It's just a hard subject. That's also the other thing. It's not something easy to teach. Nobody, there's no guidebook out here that's like do this, do that. It's physics. It's more intuition than anything else.
So for anyone who might be considering like astronomy, like they're in high school right now, or maybe they're in college already and they're thinking about changing, should anyone be afraid of astronomy, shall we say? Are there people, not that we're trying to scare anyone away or tell them that they shouldn't by any means, of course, but are there any that you would say, hey, here's something to keep in mind because this might be a huge snag for you?
Yeah, you got to be realistic. Now, look, when I went into this program, I'm not an academic weapon by any means. I didn't have a great GPA. I didn't have all that, and I'm still here and I'm still kicking. You got to understand where your limits are and what's going to happen. I mean, you have to go into this and you got to know it's going to be math. There's going to be a lot of science. It's going to be a lot of politics. I mean, you have to be able to ingrain yourself in these departments and in this field, and you have to be realistic with yourself in that. Can I stick and do it? Can I? A lot of the complaints I hear from other students is that they don't teach coding or they don't
Mm.
teach very much of it. But you have to be willing to take the initiative and say, okay, I'm going to go sit down and I'm going to read this manual and I'm going to code this and I'm going to do this. I'm going to get involved with research. And you have to be prepared to be realistic with yourself. And you got to say, can I do that? Can I not do that? Or, is this something I really want to do? Because also at the end of the day, if you're doing just astronomy, you got to also realize, okay, what's this degree going to be used for? There's a bunch of things you can use it for, but it's a very competitive field if you're going back into astronomy. I mean, we have way too few graduate positions for all the undergrads that we have. And so you have to be prepared with yourself to say, you have to be realistic and what can I do and what can I do? And you have to be prepared to accept the fact that sometimes it's too competitive. And
Mm.
but if you can accept that, go for it. Jump in. If you love what you do and you know that you love it, which I knew at the time, that it'll never get old. And the thing my parents used to get on me all the time. They're like, "Why don't you go to a field that makes money?" You know, and I'm like, "Okay, true, but if I like what I do, you never work for a day in your life. I mean, you gotta. I don't want to slave away behind the desk building bombs for Raytheon. I mean, that's not fun. I'd rather do this discovery. It's pretty much the coolest field that you could be a part of. I mean, yeah, but it's got a high bar.
So it doesn't have very much, if at all, hand holding, for lack of words. It's you
Oh,
find that most people, it's pretty much like this. You want to do this. This is gonna go as well as you want, and we're just
yeah,
here.
not. Oh, yeah, no, not initially. No, I mean, if you do it right, you ingrain yourself with some good people to do research with. You might, get a mentor or something, and there might be some guide rails that are installed there. But no, at the end of the day, it's all dependent on your initiative. I mean, it's never. You have to be prepared to go and do something. The opportunities are not going to come to you because there are people who are going to go to them first, and they're going to beat you. You have to get up and do it. That's what happens at the end of the day.
And it's relatively easy for a person to find opportunities. Is it? I know that you said that it's very competitive, so that can be kind of hard to say for sure whether it's hard to find them or just hard to get them. Has your experience or talking to other classmates, have you been able to see whether people can find those types of things? Like if you have the drive, you'll find them, or is it kind of
Yeah,
a semi
it's
lucky numbers game?
no, it's if you have the drive, you'll find them. If you can sell yourself and you can sell yourself with confidence and you can find groups, you can absolutely ingrain yourself with a research group on day one. I mean, I will say I got lucky. I had a wonderful professor, Dr. Yancey Shirley. First semester, he said, "Hey guys, I'm starting up a research group for radio. If you guys want to join in, it's an undergrad research group, just let me know." And I said, "Hell yeah, yeah, I want to join that. That sounds awesome. I got lucky." Yeah, but it it wouldn't take much for you to go out and find a professor and say, "Look, I'm a first year undergrad. I want to know what you're doing. I want to join you. I want to work with you. I want you to show me the ropes." And there are 1,000%. You may not work the first person you ask, may not work for the second, but eventually you're going to find somebody who can respect your cojones and say, "Oh, okay, yeah, this guy, I kind of want to see what he's really made of." So it's initiative. It's all initiative.
I'm glad you said something to that effect of like even a first year undergrad can do it, because I think one of the biggest things that can be tough, because even I went through it too when you're a freshman in college, is there's a huge paradigm shift between high school and college, probably maybe even so more now. And that high school is relatively easy in the sense that's like, oh, you want to do something? Okay, take this class, be in it, you're done. When you
Yeah.
get to college, there's a lot more of, I guess the initiative, it comes back to being initiative that you kind of have to go out of your, like you want to do something. Yeah, you can sign up for a class, but the classes only do so much. You got to talk to the people. You got to say you want to do the thing. You got to find outside
Yeah.
of classwork things to
The
get you to where you
Like
want
I
to
said,
be.
the opportunities are not coming to you. They're not going to walk over to you. You have to get up and walk over to them yourself. That's how it works. So that's how it works in real life. I mean, hell, proposals are not gonna they're not gonna show up at your doorstep, and the NSF is not gonna come to your doorstep and say, "I need, please look at the star for me." No, they're not gonna do that. You're gonna have to tell them what you want to do. Nobody's gonna come to you with an offer like that. That's the thing.
Now, my next question might be a little tricky because you only have, your own experience with just the University of Arizona, just to be sure, correct? Yes, that's the only university you've been a part of and such. Do you have any opinion? This is completely just opinionated on, let's say, anyone who's curious about going into astronomy, physics, such like that. How much should they care about the name of the undergrad they go to? Should they only really
Oh,
consider like the U of A and such like that for astronomy? Should they think about somewhere that's just cheaper to get it done and worry about grad school, if at all? What might be your opinion on that?
well, you want to make sure that you're going to a good program. I mean, you want to make sure that you're going to a program that's not going to screw you. And at the end of the day, when they're looking at grad school applications, from what I hear, it's not so much the name that matters. What matters is, do they have experience? Do they have research experience? What's their GPA look like? How they do in their courses? What's their personal letter like? Do they list what their weaknesses are? I mean, nobody wants to accept at least as far as I know, nobody wants to accept an application that is perfect, pitch perfect, 4.0. I have no weaknesses. I'm perfect. Nobody's gonna take you seriously. But the name of the university does not matter. What matters is the opportunities that they give you. And like you said, I have only been to the U of A, so I don't have experience with other universities. But I imagine that if you go to a university with a smaller program, you might have a more difficult time getting those opportunities. Doesn't mean they don't exist. It just means that you'll have to work a little bit harder. But that also shows up. That'll show up in your transcript. You can tell people that, hey, my program was two people. It was two guys working in an office they shared with the physics guys who were three other people. And I worked with them for a couple of years. And this is everything I did with them, and they trusted me enough to do it. And the people who read those applications have experience with that. There's 4 or 5 people on that committee, and they read that, they see it, and they say, this person might make a good grad student. It really is just dependent on where you go to, the program itself, not the name. Nobody cares if you're coming from the University of Timbuktu. The University of Timbuktu is a program that gives you opportunities. And
As long as you're doing something, if you're working towards that next step that you want,
if you're
then you're
showing
in the
that
right way.
initiative, yes. Yeah.
Cool deal. Now we throw some of the academics away. You get done with schoolwork, you get done
Thank
with
God.
work, and you go, oh, finally I can breathe. Do you feel like you can breathe? Do you feel like you have free time at all for whatever hobbies, socializing, and like you get, let's say you have, let's just call it a clean 10 hours in a day. Like you wake up, you only have 10. I know it's not like that, but just for a clean number's sake, how many of that 10 do you get to do what you want? You don't have any obligation. You're not on a time. You're nothing. You just, whatever you want. You want to draw, color, read, game, whatever, play football, sport thing. 10 hours a day. How many hours do you get to do that?
Yeah, it depends on how I'm feeling. I mean, I should use those 10 hours to just study and do research, and I don't. I need to get back on that. And so, as of the last couple weeks, yeah, sure, I've been using those 10 hours to get myself mentally prepared. Coming soon, it's going to be homework. It's going to be homework, and it's going to be doing research and coding and all that, which I got to start. All right, so yeah, you don't have that much free time.
And that's in like prime semester time. Do you
Yeah,
find
yeah.
that's kind of still the same for, is there much of a summer load for you at least as far as whether it's
Well,
internships or research? Do you feel like you have the same
yeah,
amount of stuff to do?
there will be. So I didn't apply to an RAU last semester for summer, but yeah, no, the goal is to have a summer where I am constantly working and doing
Gotcha.
research, and that's of course that my sick idea of fun is research and working. Uh, so yeah, you can get free time, but question is, sure, I have this free time, but what is it doing for me in the long run?
So you
You
get
know?
kind of itchy of like, well, what am I doing? Could this benefit me somehow? Could I put a little more work into this and have this project done, and
Oh,
that's another project I have under my belt and such like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't think I really, unless you specifically have anything that you'd like to say, pro or con, or things people should keep in mind for
I got a lot of
for
cons.
that. All right, so let's just
No, I
preface
no,
this
I
whole section
no,
here. This is
no, it's
just
okay.
one experience. I'm gonna have multiple people from the U of A and the physics and astronomy program specifically. So some of you listeners might get tired of hearing some of these pros and cons. But for anyone who's thinking, all right, I'm pretty locked in for the U of A, and I'm pretty sure I want to do physics and astronomy. What stands out to you as seems like a benefit that around here or places like it have? And here's a con that I've found. It doesn't have to be one to one, just anything specific, whether it's good or bad. You're like, oh, I've really enjoyed the location. It's sunny 350 days a year, or whatever they claim. And that's a very nice pro to me. Or maybe you're like, it is freaking hot and it's a con to me. Whatever,
Oh
something,
no, I
anything
mean,
counts.
yeah, no, I mean, we live, you and me live in the seventh circle of hell. It's the closest you can actually get. I actually saw Dante walking across the street. But what it is no, the programs are good. The astronomy department's world renowned. We are the world's largest astronomy department operated. We have the most undergrads. We have the most opportunities for any university. The physics department is a good department at the end of the day. You're going to hear different things, but like I said, physics is not it's not a conducive topic to teach. Neither is astronomy, but people approach that with a different attitude than physics. Physics
Mm.
is purposely confusing, and you have to have some sort of intuition to do it. And it's not easy to communicate it. And so the problem is you do end up with professors who, they're trying their hardest, but it's hard. It's a hard topic. It's not a topic that's, easy to teach. It's not 1 plus 2 is equal to, 2, or 1 plus 2 is equal to 2. So that's how good the physics education here is. One
You'll
plus
get
two is
so
equal to
messed up
three.
on math, you don't even keep track of the regular stuff anymore.
Yeah, no. Well, and hey, it might be true that 1 plus 2 is equal to 2. Who knows? Maybe that one disappears. That one's really small. No, it's not simple. It's not simple. It's a hard topic, and you just gotta go with the knowledge of that. Look, that's what's going to be expected of you. I mean,
And you don't think it's a passion problem at all? Like you find that people who teach physics still seem to care about that whole realm of teaching and students, and or at least physics. Do you feel that you get any of that comes across? Whether you think the teaching style is any good, that's a completely different conversation we obviously can have for a very long time. But do you find that there's passion in it for people, for specifically the professors? Do you feel like you go into
oh
class and
yeah.
you're like, that sucker, he loves this, I want to love it like he does? Or do you feel like, are you here?
Oh, yes, absolutely. All of them. All of them are passionate in their own way. They all love it. I mean, there's no reason why they would be here. If they didn't love it, hell, they'd go into industry and do something else. They love what they do. They do it for the love of the game. That's what they're doing. And sometimes the teaching is, it's not something they want to do. But at the end of the day, it's something that they are passionate about. They like their research. They like the field, and they're very good at it. And they're very, very intelligent in terms of physics. And so I don't think they are not passionate. I think that they are uh, other things,
Perhaps
other
they don't have
problems
enough
that they can.
avenues on how to teach good. They don't. It's not like any time in your astronomy and physics, you're not going to take any education classes, so it's not like
Yeah,
you're ever going to get
I
taught how to teach in that sense.
I was gonna say I don't think I've ever actually asked one of the professors if they're required to take an education course. Like, I don't know, how to communicate with other humans on the planet. That might be something that they should take. But
That seems like it's the COM 101, how to talk to people. That should
yeah,
be required, you
exactly.
think?
Yeah, you would think. No, I mean, most of these guys, they do their research, they get their grad student positions, they get their postdocs, and they do their doctorate, and then they get thrown into an apartment, and they want to do their research, and then they're like, oh, hey, by the way, part of your contract says you have to teach, 1 semester every 2 years or something, and now they're like, well, I just came here to do research. Most of them are not in this to teach. They're in here to to discover the secrets of the universe, and this is and teaching is a side quest. That's
It's a
that's not something
byproduct.
that's yeah, it's a byproduct. Something that's in their contract that they have to do in order to create more people like them. And so, that's the attitude I think a majority of them have. Although I will say that the physics department, that's a majority of professors, but the astronomy department, I think there's so many astronomy professors. I don't know this for sure, but I mean, a lot of them seem to actually do love to teach. A lot of them are very, very passionate about what they want to talk about, and they do teach for the love of the game. And I mean, I almost wonder if that is because the astronomy department probably approaches how they assign classes a little bit differently. I almost wonder, and I have to ask them around, but I wonder if they sort of do it in a system of, hey, do you want to teach? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Where I think the physics department, it's
They
it's
get more
very
assigned,
small.
maybe.
Yeah, it's very small compared to the astronomy department. If they sent out emails asking who wants to teach this semester, they probably would get no responses. The astronomy department benefits from the fact that we have 75 faculty, and so
Oh wow,
they can afford to do that. It's a little, and I will
it's a
say
hard
this:
numbers game on that.
it's a hard numbers game, and the physics department doesn't have enough money. They definitely need more money sent their way from the U of A. They're hell. I mean, the building is named Physics and Atmospheric Sciences. The Atmospheric Sciences department hasn't been in the same building for like 5 years. I mean, they're neglected. They are neglected, and I think that's unfortunate. And I and yeah, so I go in with a bit of compassion when I'm being taught by them. So yeah,
Well, that's good. Even however crappy it might get, there's still people. You're not going to totally just bash and run the entire thing. So that's good on you for that.
no, I won't bash them. They're good people at the end of the day.
Oh, good. Okay, for the one big kind of the gotcha question that I've decided I want to include on these episodes for now, at least. You get a redo to your life, whether it's you're changing one little tiny thing, a gigantic thing, whether it can go all the way back to, don't go before high school. But if it's something like maybe you would have picked a
Okay.
different program, different school, maybe you would have, even if it was something small, like maybe obviously you would do so many things because you know more now. But if you could only know like a little bit when you went back in time, it's like, oh, I got to remember to go start my research, or I got to remember that I don't want to do a double major right away. I'll hold off on that, or maybe start it right away. Anything small or big, up to you.
Well,
What do you do?
yeah, I would definitely prepare myself more, especially in the mathematic realm. I would probably go out and seek a lot of resources. That's what I would do. I
In
would
high
try to
school
brush up.
time, or when are you
Yeah,
looking for that?
definitely in high school. And the problem in high school is I went to a high school that didn't have a calculus class, so I was up a creek.
Hmm.
Um, but no, yeah, I would definitely try to brush up more on my mathematics. That would probably be the only thing I could do in that environment. Um, Now, getting to here, yeah, I would start studying like, I don't know, 2 years before an exam. That's probably the good.
It might be
Depends on
just
the
enough
exam.
time.
Yeah, yeah, it might just be enough time. No, start studying. I had a teacher who said, I mean, Dr. Gilpin, who was like, hey, I start studying 4 or 5 weeks before an exam. They're all posted, all the dates. I mean, you should probably start as early as possible, start writing note cards and all that. I definitely approach the way I do exams differently. And now that I've said that, now I have to hold myself to doing that instead of studying the night before. But yeah, no, you start early. Start early on everything. Don't do it last minute. Don't do it the night before. That's what I would change. And besides that, yeah, I mean, not how much it's. I really
There's
wouldn't
no
change
right
much
answer
at
here.
all.
That can be enough.
Yeah, no, yeah. Besides that, that's all I'd change. That and I'd make myself a millionaire. Obviously, I'd buy some stock in a defense company.
There's quite a few stocks that we would look back and be like, oh, I remember COVID's going to be happening somewhat soon.
Yeah.
Let's make sure.
Oh yeah, dude. Chase, why'd you buy 6 trillion masks? Well,
I think I'm going into a business.
I'm going into business.
Medical
Yeah,
supply,
yeah,
I think, is going to be going up.
yeah. Why'd you buy all these drones, and why are you shipping them to Ukraine? Well, it's kind of intuition.
Diversified portfolio.
Diversify. I'm going to drop the masks for the drones.
It's
Yeah,
going to be great.
so it's going to be great. Yeah. So
Well, before I say our little sign off thing, do you have any last minute, like if you're talking to, like let's say you're standing in front of 14,000 or four, probably more likely our audience is four people. 4 high schoolers, 4 college kids, whatever. You get to tell them whatever you want last second of like, hey, don't forget, or just keep in mind. Do you have anything you'd say to the little group about
just
a few people?
Yeah, don't hesitate. Do it. Don't overthink things. If you want to do it, jump in.
Did you notice how he didn't hesitate when he said that too? He that's all on theme. He's like, what do I say? Oh, don't hesitate. Done. Right here. Boom.
Like, yeah, no. My biggest regret in high school was I was pretty closed off, pretty shy. I never, hell, I ate lunch in either my dad's classroom or the physics classroom, and I wouldn't change lunches in the physics classroom, but I don't like my dad, so I changed that. No, I love my dad, but no, I changed that. Go out and do things. Jump into anything. You really only live once. I mean, that's pretty cliche, but some things don't come back around. So do it. Ask questions later, or first.
Just do it. Whatever. You want to ask a question? Do it. But then just do the thing.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, I was trying to say. It's the saying is ask for forgiveness, not for permission. That's the saying.
Yeah.
That might be a bad thing in certain contexts, but
don't reference us for any issues that may stem from anything you've done in the future from here. People.
Yeah, I have a lawyer. I have a lawyer. We're good.
On speed dial all the time.
Yeah, he's on retainer from the last incident. So. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. McMahon, for being on the podcast interview today. I very much appreciate it. You did a wonderful job, in my opinion. You speak very clearly, very well for only someone in their 20s.
I hope so. Yeah, I'm really old. Next week I go look at the homes. Too, but
yeah, colonoscopy, and I'm gonna go check out the HOAs and make sure that everything's going good.
Yeah, my AARP card comes in the mail tomorrow. So.
Oh, good. The savings you're gonna have.
Yeah, my 401k gone.
Used up. I've lived too long. I wasn't expecting to live this long, but he won't take me.
Yeah, I used up all $5. Yeah, he won't take me. Please. No, it's yeah. So yeah.
Cool. And to all of you guys listening, thank you very much for coming on, and we'll see you again next time.